The thing that'll get us back to the world that we had before coronavirus is the vaccine and getting that out to all 7 billion people.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is.
How to Be a Successful Tyrant. It's my first book. I finished writing it in 2005, and it came out in 2006, so I finished writing it 15 years ago. It's currently out of print. I'm working on getting the second edition back into print. Thought I'd give a dramatic reading of one little part of it. This is Chapter 2, Exploiting Fear. From the beginning, subheading, Fear as a Tool. Now, keep in mind, this is written as a manual for someone trying to be a tyrant. So when it says you, it's talking to somebody trying to be a tyrant. Almost all oppression via propaganda is based upon scaring people and then presenting a false choice where the people can choose either to do what you want them to do or face some unknown, often purely fictional horror. This is not the method of the common thug, which can be summarized as, do this or I will hurt you. A successful modern tyrant never presents himself as the thing to be afraid of, as doing so would obviously create resentment and hatred in the peasantry, and that leads to resistance. Every thing to be feared, or TTBF, with which you terrorize your peasants must be presented as some separate outside evil that only you can save them from. You must present the simple choice between obedience to you and the threat of some unpleasant happening, which does not appear to be of your doing and which you pretend to lament the existence of. In short, you must deceive and scare the citizens into voluntarily giving up their freedom. Quote, the people never give up their liberties but under some delusion. End quote, Edmund Burke. A simple example would be making up a plague of some sort, assuring people that millions are doomed to die, and then claiming that giving you a lot of money and control is the only hope of averting disaster. Or perhaps, instead of making up a disease, you can pick a real disease, grossly exaggerate the risk it poses to the peasants, whip them into a frenzy, and then present yourself as their only hope for salvation, which, of course, will require you to be given much wealth and power. Recent history gives many examples to build upon, such as AIDS, anthrax, mad cow disease, etc. Even the common flu can be used to spread alarm and panic in the peasantry.
Well, I have a feeling that they'll use the age-old tactic of order out of chaos or problem, reaction, solution. It could be a health pandemic. It could be an economic crash. They need something to get Canadians into this fear state.
The best possible outcome is no easy path for any of us. The initial peak, the top of the curve, may be in late spring, with the end of the first wave in the summer. As Dr. Tam explained, there will likely be smaller outbreaks for a number of months after that. This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
Good morning. Here's the news. Civil Defense Headquarters announced today that the sharp increase in the number of cases of illness during the last few days had led authorities to suspect that a biological warfare attack may have taken place. As yet, the cause of this outbreak has not been identified. Civil Defense health authorities recommend that you should take the following precautions.
If such an announcement is made in your city, don't give way to fear. Just remember that scientists would already be working to control the outbreak.
Even after we're through this first wave, we will need to remain vigilant and we will need to bring in different measures. Normality, as it was before, will not come back full on until we get a vaccine for this, and as you say, that could be a very long way off.
The world is now at the start of the 2009 influenza pandemic. The virus is spreading under a close and careful watch.
Drug makers have started work on a vaccine which they say could be ready within months.
This really may be a worldwide situation. Cases here, containment here, trying to move rapidly.
Husbands will be returned to their wives. Mothers will be returned to their children. Join us in this great work. Rally to the fight against tuberculosis, the common enemy of mankind.
A few drops of vaccine injected under the skin of the arm will give them dependable and lasting immunity.
Part of getting through this wave in a rapid way will be because we are developing the tools that will also help us when those wavelets come forward in the coming years, in the coming months.
It makes me think back to 1976, the first year I served in the Congress. We had a vote on the swine flu. Back then, there was a panic, and they said it was going to sweep the nation, and they rapidly came up with some flu shots, and the government was going to inoculate everybody and save the world from this disaster.
I'm the healthiest 55-year-old you ever seen. Hey, I play golf every weekend.
Get a shot of protection, the swine flu shot.
The flu came and the flu went, and one person died, except for those individuals who died from getting the flu vaccine. And over 25 people died just from getting the vaccine, and many got ill from it until finally they had to suspend the whole program.
This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
We had about 13,000 cases of tuberculosis. Now that's a serious disease. And also, the last time they recorded the number of deaths in this country was in 2006, and there were 644 deaths from tuberculosis.
Laura, some students here in Prince George's County schools have missed up to a month and a half of school because they have not gotten their vaccinations for chicken pox and hepatitis B. Now the school system says it's time to get tough and take those parents to court.
We need those students immunized. We need them in schools. We need them safe.
This Saturday, more than 1,600 students and their parents have been ordered to appear in circuit court for the children to be immunized. Health workers will be on hand to give the shots immediately.
We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
This strain of swine influenza that's been cultured in the laboratory is something that's not been seen anywhere actually in the United States and the world. So this is actually a new strain of influenza that's been identified.
If there are going to be multiple waves of this, if we aren't going to be able to sort of get out of this until we find a vaccine, which we're told is 12 to 18 months away at best, do you envision that we're going to have multiple waves of shutdowns, lockdowns, closures of the economy? And how can we handle those kinds of constant shutdowns?
I think even after we're through this first wave, we will need to remain vigilant, and we will need to bring in different measures. Normality, as it was before, will not come back full on until we get a vaccine for this. And as you say, that could be a very long way off.
So all I'm asking people to do is step back and think for a minute rather than rushing and panicking and taking advantage of opportunities like this. This is what happens, whether they're economic problems or medical problems. The people who love big government take advantage of this.
It could be a health pandemic. It could be an economic crash.
This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
Hey friends, Sean from SGT Report here. I hope you're all doing well this Saturday before Easter Sunday, where all the churches are closed. There is so much incredible tyranny taking place across our country right now. And I want to show you the face of one of these fascist tyrants. Her name, Gretchen Whitmer. She's a Democrat, and she also happens to be the governor of the state of Michigan. Now, like the governor of Vermont, Gretchen Whitmer has banned seed sales in her state, calling them non-essential. You also can't buy paint and painting supplies. Now ask yourself how this makes any sense. If the stores that sell seeds and paint supplies are open, how does it make any sense not to let people buy what they want? Unless you're trying to destroy the economy, and in the case of growing your own food using seeds, not allow people to be self-sufficient. This is the face of a tyrant. And I tweeted yesterday, based on this news of Gretchen the tyrant, I said, at this point, we should all be screaming at these people and demanding to know why are so many governors and cops so eagerly becoming jackbooted thugs, stomping on human faces. This is so Orwellian, it really defies belief. And at this point, we've all seen videos of cops pulling men off of buses for not wearing masks. We've seen video of paddleboarders being arrested for daring to go out into the ocean by themselves. Maryland has banned gardening supplies, painting supplies, plants, and seeds. And getting back to Gretchen the Tyrant, she's also banned travel between households statewide, which means if you obey the tyrant, you can't go visit your mom or your grandmother or friends. This is absolute madness, and it could not have been imagined just 3 months ago. And this type of tyranny in our own nation, a nation of liberty, a nation of constitutional law, and a guaranteed Bill of Rights, all of this was unfathomable just a few months ago. Are we mice or are we men? Are we endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights, or do we allow tyrants to tell us who we can visit, where we can travel, what we can buy, and how long we can leave our homes for? Are we mice or men? And all of this reminds me of a very important event that took place in 1998. That's when the Reform Party candidate, a third-party candidate named Jesse Ventura, ran for governor in the state of Minnesota and won. And after becoming governor, to his shock, Jesse Ventura quickly found out that the CIA has an office in the state government of Minnesota.
Did you know the CIA is implanted in your state government?
No.
How are they? Well, I'll explain. First of all, the CIA mission statement says they're not to be operational within the U.S. So they're violating their mission statement. Well, in Minnesota, only the governor and the chief of staff are aware of it. That there's an implanted CIA person in Minnesota government at a level to where he doesn't come and go with elections. It's a permanent position. Why?
But beyond that, after becoming governor, a strange request of him was made by the CIA.
1 month after I took office, I was requested to the basement of the Capitol where I was interrogated by 23 members of the Central Intelligence Agency, and I was the governor. I went, because being a former military, you kind of feel obligated. You don't know what it's really about. I walked into the room, and they put me in a chair at the end, and they were in a big half circle around me, and they interrogated me, questioned me. And having met me, you'll realize how I handled it. I walked in and I sat down. I said, well, first of all, I said, before you ask me any questions, I have a few for you. I said, what are you here for? I said, your mission statement says you're not to be operational in the United States of America. Why are you here questioning me? And why are you violating your mission statement? Well, I couldn't get an answer. And that's the way they are. I second said, I want to go around the room. I want you to tell me your name and what you do. And I'm the governor.
It makes you wonder how many of the governors across the country who are acting very tyrannically are being urged or compelled to do so. So I will leave you with the face of a tyrant, a Democrat in the state of Michigan named Gretchen Whitmer, who has banned seed sales in stores that have them and are open for business, and she has also banned travel between households statewide. Are we mice or are we men? What does freedom even mean if it can be taken away at the whim of a fascist scumbag like Gretchen Whitmer?
At the siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours. All emergency services will be suspended.
One of the officers who is military approached me and said, well, Chief, there is an old military
siren that was used. It was used in the movie Purge.
People are now calling this controversial experiment a purge. Do not purge! Do not purge!
We didn't want to go through with our regular sirens because we didn't want to create more havoc.
Ty Abshire was caught off guard when he heard the purge siren echoing through the streets of Crowley around 9 o'clock Thursday night.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the first purge.
It was just crazy. I knew they had the curfew, but nobody was expecting to hear that kind of siren.
Our neighborhood is under siege from a government who doesn't give a shit about any of us.
That siren, known by many from the movie The Purge, was not received well.
Is the purge a political device?
It is a psychological one.
The department has since received more than 500 comments on Facebook questioning why they use the siren and why the curfew is being strictly enforced.
It was to remind people that this is a very serious matter.
Human nature does not obey the laws of politics.
It's a very serious disease.
Parties, you predicted a much higher level of participation.
It's a very serious pandemic.
We are here with Dr. May Updale. She came up with this experiment.
I think part of the issue is people are not seeing, even if they look at the statistics, it's not real to them.
They all ex-military. Something funky going down, D.
Our purpose was to let people know, and if they know now, even through this, how dangerous this pandemic is.
No one's coming to help us.
How dangerous this COVID-19 is. Then okay, it was accomplished.
Your government thanks you for your participation.
It's a very serious disease.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a very serious pandemic.
Big booty, what you got a big booty. Big booty, what you got a big booty.
I think part of the issue is people are not seeing, even if they look at the statistics, it's not real to them.
Big booty, what you got a big booty. Big booty, what you got a big booty.
Our purpose was to let people know, and if they know now, even through this, how dangerous this pandemic is.
Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
How dangerous this COVID-19 is.
Level up, level up, level up. All this on me so yummy. All this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy.
It's a very serious disease.
And if we don't stand up to this shit, we're gonna turn into India.
No panic, fuck corona, self-isolation, feeling like a loner, yeah, but still no panic, but fuck corona, everything's shut down, it's a downer. I know things are crazy, but just know there's a way. I know that it's some dark times, but night comes for the day. Feel like we're on a lifeline, the whole world's turning gray. Shit on the line is prime time, but we ready to play. And I don't fuck with corona. Said I don't fuck with corona. Said I don't fuck with corona. No, I don't fuck with corona. No panic, fuck corona. Self-isolation, feeling like a learner, yeah, but still no panic. But fuck corona, everything's shut down, It's a downer. Everything shut down, this is great. People ain't working, ain't getting paid. Can't pay rent when you got no wage, but you still need a place to stay. Peaks and valleys, now this is strange. But we got so much shit to gain, cause it's your temporary pain. No panic, for corona. Self-isolation, feeling like a loner, yeah. But still no panic, but fuck corona. Everything shut down, it's a downer. I know things are crazy, but just know there's a way. I know that it's some dark times, but night comes for the day. Feel like we're on a lifeline, the whole world's turning grey. Shit on the line is prime time, but we ready to play. And I don't fuck with corona. Said I don't fuck with corona. Said I don't fuck with corona. No, I don't fuck with corona. Try to go to the shop, line out that parking lot. I'm thinking, man, this shit is wavy. When this shit gon' stop? Straight up, we're hoping for better days. Is this a virus or is this a plague? You up now in your final stage. Been here too long, get the fuck on my way. No corona, seen better days. Lit down by science, to God I pray. Cause I ain't buying whatever they say. It's no corona, we'll find a way. Yeah, no panic, fuck corona. Self-isolation, feeling like a loner, yeah. But still no panic, but fuck corona. Everything shut down, it's a downer. I know things are crazy, but just know there's a way. I know that it's some dark times, but night comes for the day. Feel like we're on a lifeline, the whole world's turning grey. Shit on the line is prime time, but we ready to play. And I don't fuck with corona. Said I don't fuck with corona. Said I don't fuck with corona. No, I don't fuck with corona.
No. Somebody's confused. Somebody's just not thinking.
I mean, there's no way.
We'll figure it out.
You guys never understood. You never understood the first thing about this.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is.